Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Here we go. How's everybody doing today? My assistant forgot to cool off my room before I got in here, so it's hot as Satan in the room that I'm sitting in. So forgive me if you keep seeing me fanning myself. Hi, Victor. It's just really hot here. No joke. Happy 904th day of the... Okay, that was funny. I'll give you credit for that one. You got me to giggle. Happy 104th day of the 2-week shelter in place for your own protection, flatten the curve of the pandemic. Yeah, I got you. 904 days later. Youch. I'm gonna try to keep my mouth shut today about upcoming Senate and legislation and all of that. What we're faced with is not fun. It usually isn't. In my own professional opinion, I've learned that the new laws are hit and miss. Okay, so let me give you an example. In 2020, we got a big whopper of a law with statewide rent control. And then in 2021, we got a very small amount of law changes, right? So it seems to go statistically, I'm just saying, I see a pattern with the changes of the laws that come out on the 1st of January every year. We have a quiet year, we have a heavy year. We have a quiet year, we have a heavy year. I remember one year we had 27 new laws. And I want to say that was in 2017. It's when the eviction masking law came about. We had like 27 new laws that year. Okay. So what I'm trying to say without saying it is 2023 is a heavy law year, not a light law year. Paying attention? So for 2023, I anticipate us to get hit with several new laws again, January 1st, 2023. Just saying, it seems in my professional opinion that you have a quiet year, a busy year, a quiet year, a busy year, a quiet year, a busy year. And we're coming up on the busy year, folks. So there's a lot of pending legislation, a lot of threats to our industry. I'm just letting people in. It's ludicrous. I mean, some of the stuff they're trying to pass right now says that we're not going to be able to do wage garnishments for landlord tenant debt unless the tenant makes more than $42 an hour. Do we have tenants that make more than $42 an hour? It's sad if that goes through, because then there's no repercussions against tenants for defaulting on the rents. Just saying. Bad situation. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Okay, I need to invite somebody to this meeting, so bear with me really quickly while I figure out how to do that. Never mind, I see he's already in here. Hello, Mr. Cliff. I know you're listening. Okay, how does the eviction process if the tenant doesn't cure in 3 days? Properties under LARSA. I'm just curious. Okay, I'm going to use something that you can't do in LA City or in LA County right now as an example. I know it's a bad example because you can't do it right now, but I'll give you other examples of things you could use this for. A 3-day pay rent or quit notice is for rent only. Okay, a 3-day cure or quit notice is for everything else. Okay, it's for a broken window. It's for non-payment of a utility bill. It's for not paying a late fee. It's for unauthorized occupants, unauthorized pets, any breach of the lease that's not rent. Rent goes on a 3-day pay rent or quit, and everything else goes on a covenant notice. So to answer your question, if the tenant doesn't cure in 3 days, whether it's a curable breach of covenant or a 3-day pay rent or quit, then you can pursue an eviction if they don't comply with the notice. So in a curable breach of covenant notice, cure or quit, you have to do a cure or quit. If it's non-monetary, you want to do a 24-hour to reinspect after the notice expires so that you can show your supporting documentation. And when you reinspected to make sure they didn't comply with the notice. So you do your 24-hour notice to reinspect, and then you do your 3-day notice to quit. 3-day quit. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, talk to me before you do your 3-day quit. I'm going to most likely tell you to have your legal counsel do it. I am 30 years into my career here, folks, and just starting to do my own 3-day quit notices. A lot's involved. You have to attach your curable notices as your evidence and your proof. They need to be attached to the quit notice as exhibits, along with all your other evidence. If you don't attach it to the notice as exhibits, then it never happened. Got it? The only thing an attorney can argue when you're going to court on a 3-day notice to quit is whatever's on the notice. So if you don't have enough teeth on the notice, your case probably is not going to go where you want it to. Okay, I see my Roadrunner girls are trying to get in. I see them and then they're gone again. I got part of them in here. Do I got you all in here? I'm trying. All right, so I hope that explained the curable breach of covenant versus the quit. If they don't comply, you got to do a quit notice behind that, okay? Sometimes we don't do any curable notices. We just go straight to the quit, depending on what's going on. You could do a 3-day notice to quit for various things. I'm going to give you just a few off the top of my head. 3-day notice to quit. In other words, you can't fix this GTFO in 3 days. You can't fix it. You have to understand, when you do that notice, the judge is going to be all over you because you didn't give the opportunity to the tenant to cure this. So this better be good. So we use a 3-day notice to quit in certain instances, and let me give them to you. Crime was committed on the property so severe the tenant's in jail or got arrested. That would be a 3-day quit. Even law enforcement says they gotta go. City violation. They're in violation of city ordinance or something along those lines. That would be a 3-day quit. You don't have to do the curables ahead of time, okay? So there's some instances where you can just go straight to a 3-day notice to quit, but the judges don't like to see that. They like to see that you give the tenant an opportunity to cure before you go to the quit. Depending on the area, they may require several attempts for you to cure before you do the quit notice. Example, and this is not in today's society. This is in last year's society. In LA City, I needed 5 curables before I could do the quit. But that was a year ago. Now I don't know what it is. I'd have to check with legal counsel over what the magic number is in order to prove a nuisance. And then sometimes you guys, tenants never do this, okay? First of all, tenants never lie. But some of the things tenants do, and I'll give an example, is they bring a dog into the property. You serve them a 3-day curable breach of covenant to get rid of the unauthorized pet. The pet disappears. All's clear, right? So you go on about your business, 2 weeks go by and the damn dog's back again. They think they chased you away. So now you're going to do another curable breach of covenant to get rid of the unauthorized pet, but this time you're going to put second request at the top and add the new dates, times, and witnesses to the curable breach of covenant. Then you're going to do your reinspection and do your 24-hour notice to see if they got rid of the dog on the 4th day. If the dog's gone, you're not going to do anything. You're going to go back to your office, sit at your desk, and hurry up and wait for them to bring the dog back again. Then it's going to be your third request, curable breach of covenant, unauthorized pets. So now we're showing that this is an ongoing issue that the tenant's curing and then bringing the pet back, and then curing and then bringing the pet back. So this is an ongoing nuisance issue at this point, and that's what we proved to the judge based on your curable notices. And then the quit comes when the attorney says, that's enough, I got enough. And what that is that's what the attorney can argue in court. So once they feel confident they could win the argument, then they'll tell you, okay, now we're ready to do a quit. Just so you kind of understand. I hope that made sense to you guys, because right now I feel like I'm rambling. Is a stuck window a habitability issue? Absolutely. Painted and shut window is a habitability issue. Windows need to open, close, and lock properly. Tenant is using a residential apartment for her dog sitting business. I'm aware of this. I know what's going on. It would be a shame if somebody turned her into the city code enforcement or something along those lines because she doesn't have a business license. And don't you do it. If the landlord or the property manager does it, it's retaliatory. Don't you do it. It'd be a shame if somebody reported them. Do you know what we should do? We should all get on here and volunteer to be a shame and anonymously report for other people. Start a co-op of tattletales, if you will. Any tips on unsticking the window? This sucker won't move. Here comes everybody else. WD-40. They might have painted it shut. I don't know. You know what I mean? That's not my area of expertise, is stuck windows. I got you all day long with water heaters and toilets, though, believe it or not. Toilets. Who would have thought that I would know? And water heaters. Like, I could tell you the difference between a thermocoupler and a heating element and what purpose they serve in the water heater. One keeps the water at a constant temperature. That would be your heating element. And the thermocoupler actually helps it keep igniting when it needs to replenish the hot water. See, I shouldn't know this stuff. I'm blonde. I'm a girl. What's going on here? Too much property management. Exchange tattletales. Yes, we need that. Hi, Patty. Erica from Roadrunner. Hello. Is my property owner legally responsible? Stop. Your property owner is legally responsible for everything. I'm just kidding. Is legally responsible to provide a rent credit for broken AC, or are they responsible to pay for a hotel until the AC unit is fixed? Here comes Patty's questions. Is AC a habitability issue in your city? How would I know that, Patty? It's easy. Call city code enforcement and ask them if air conditioning is a habitability issue in the city. If the answer is yes, you owe them a daily rent credit until it's corrected. If the answer is no, then it becomes a habitability issue on day 31. And the tenant can withhold rent. Okay? I know it's a pain in the butt, especially when we have heat like this. And you guys, it's only going to get worse. Okay? And I'm not saying I'm buying into anything. I'm not feeding into anything. But look at what's happening statistically in our country. We are having the hottest summer of record, right? But it's going to be the coldest summer of the future. In other words, what they're all telling us is it's only going to get hotter each year going from here because of global warming or whatever, okay? If it's only going to get hotter, more and more cities are going to have AC become a habitability issue. So we're going to have to watch that with code enforcement, but that's how you find out if the AC is a habitability issue within your city. I'll tell you right now, it is in LA County, Palmdale, Lancaster. It is in the city of Barstow. not in the city of Victorville or Hesperia. Okay, paying attention. It is in the city of Palm Desert, Palm Springs, 29 Palms, and somewhere else I can't remember right off the top of my head. Basically, you call the city, ask for code enforcement. When they get on the phone, ask them if not having an air conditioner in a residential dwelling or it breaking is a habitability issue. Regardless, you need to fix it within 30 days. If it's a habitability issue, fix it yesterday. Don't wait till tomorrow. If it's a habitability issue, they don't get rent. They don't owe the rent. That's what I'm trying to say. And you need to put them in a hotel or provide them reasonable accommodations. Giving them 1/30 of the rent back a month as a relocation fee. I'm arguing with myself in my brain right now. Because you would go back to your normal per diem. And this little thing inside my brain right now is going, Patty, don't forget about per diem. It's a standard amount in unincorporated cities of LA County. It's $207 a day plus $66 for adults and $33 for children 12 and older for their incidentals and meals. So my brain automatically goes to things that make me angry in this industry. Anybody have anything else for me? What you guys got? Happy Wednesday. I got a couple of Wednesdays in October. I am going to be busy probably the first week of October. I'll keep you guys posted as to the comings and goings of that. And where we're going to be. We're off on an adventure, folks. So I will be bringing you guys along. You guys that have been with me for a while know that sometimes we're in Philadelphia and sometimes we're in Maryland, and you never know where we're going to be when you're with Patty. So be ready for that in the first part of October. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Update on eviction cases for April, May, June in LA County. Everybody's asking me. So here's what we're seeing a lot of, okay? We're seeing a lot of things get stipulation, okay? We're now seeing a lot of tenants bail. They're not filing answers. So when your attorney says it's a 50-50 shot, we're back to a 50-50 shot in some areas. In LA County, we're seeing a lot of settlement agreements come about, a lot, okay? Stipulated judgments, if you will. Stipulated judgment is a good thing because you get judgment that day. So that's a good thing. Do I have one case yet where I'm confident in saying we were successful in evicting for April's rent in LA County? Not yet. We'll try again next week, okay? I have one that's in trial tomorrow that I got my fingers crossed and I am watching it like a hawk, trust me, okay? If that one goes, then I'm gonna tell you, yep, it worked, run, run. But let's err on the side of caution and watch other people so that we're not risking our own investment dollars, okay? I know it sounds ridiculous, but sometimes I just want to stand back and watch what happens to other people before. Here's an example. Before I drive across the river and I can't see the road, and you know we're not supposed to cross bodies of water when we can't see the bottom. But before I drive across that, I'm gonna park and I'm gonna wait on the side and watch somebody else do it first. So I can decide if I really wanna do that or not, okay? I'm not the one that goes, okay, come on, let's go do it. I'm the one that goes, no, I'll watch over here and see what happens to you. And then I'll make a decision on what I wanna do. That's me. I wanna err on the side of caution. I wanna stay out of the limelight. I wanna watch somebody else to see if they succeed or face plant, because if they face plant, I'm sure not going to follow them down the route they took, right? So no, honestly, I don't have anything yet. I know what you're after. I'm watching it. Trust me, I'm watching it. And there's one case that I should probably know by tomorrow when they go to trial, what's going to happen? Do we need to have a regular inspection of apartment unit if tenants love complaining? No. A regular inspection of your apartment unit isn't going to help stop the complaining. Complainers are going to complain. And I'm choosing my words carefully because I could tell you if, and I mean, I got a funny for you. You know what they call a room full of Karens? Anybody? Come on, get your guesses out. What do they call a room full of Karens? An HOA. Sorry. You know, they're always saying, you can't do that. You can't do this. You can't leave your trash cans out. I hope somebody giggled. I thought it was funny. I called my LA County Supervisor's office. They told me I can evict in incorporated cities in the county. That's not what I heard. What say you? So what do I say? You can evict in incorporated cities in the county. We're doing it now. You guys got to understand something. When we say we're evicting now, it doesn't mean we're evicting and succeeding. There's no case law regarding COVID. What it means is we're evicting and getting to a stipulated agreement to give you your house back. That's what we all want. The money judgments, go after them in small claims. Okay. But yes, in unincorporated cities of LA County, we've been doing evictions. I don't like to say we're successful because we're going to stipulated agreements. If they don't get out, then we're ordering lockouts and we're being successful with those lockouts even. So it's not that we're not being successful in LA County. Here's what you need to know in LA County, whether it's in incorporated or unincorporated, they can still self-certify. But for the most part, the people that have been taking advantage the entire time, they're starting to get into a stipulated agreement or just leave when you get up to a certain point. So we're starting to see that the other side is learning that the free ride is over, okay? And unfortunately, and I hate to say this to you guys, but it's the truth, okay? And when you think about it how I'm going to explain it to you in my analogy, okay? For almost 2 years, the government has been bailing out landlords and paying for tenants' rents when successfully applied through the program, blah, 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 okay? The free ride's over. There's no more money to be passed around and tenants are responsible to pay their own rent. But they haven't had to do it in 2.5 years. So for the most part, we're going to have to retrain them that they have to pay us the rent again. What is the one way we have to train a tenant? Eviction. Got it? We're going to have to retrain our tenants to pay the rent again. Hands down. Especially ones that have been utilizing COVID as an excuse. We have no choice. We have to evict them because they still think they don't owe the rent. They don't have to pay the rent and that Joe and his hoe's gonna bail them out. And that's not the case. There's no more money out there. Okay, there's no new funding going on. I saw one in one of the cities and they're like, oh no, this landlord's telling me, oh no, we're approved. Everything's applied and it's all in queue. And I'm like, okay, then why aren't you getting paid? Did you ask the program if they currently have any funding available? The chances are, no, you're going to be put on a waiting list for our next round of funding. There is no next round of funding, folks. We're done with COVID and on to the monkeypox if you haven't been paying attention. Okay? There's no more funding coming. It's all, oh, you're in queue. Start asking important questions like, do you have any funding available? Because if the answer is no, don't apply. You're wasting time. Okay, here we go. And yes, we have been successful in eviction matters, but mind you, it's coming to a stipulated agreement or something along those lines. We don't have anything that's gone all the way through jury trial, and we don't have any case law yet regarding COVID, okay? I got one that's gonna go though. I know it is. We're already at jury, but this one is in regards to COVID, but the reason it's gone this far is it's a family dispute. I have several vacancies right now. Oh, Val, I'm so sorry. And I'm short-staffed to get them rent ready. I had to remember to add a vacancy policy to my insurance. Yep. Vacant over 30 days, the insurance will not pay for stuff. That's absolutely true. You might have to move in a handyman just so it looks occupied. I'm just saying. They told me there is no eviction moratorium in incorporated cities of LA County. I have to look that up. I think that goes otherwise. There is no eviction moratorium in incorporated cities. Huh. I'm gonna have to look that up. Who told you? The enemy? My tenant says there are other programs available. He's bullshitting me. You think?
I have a question, Patty.
Yes.
San Bernardino County, since we're getting people out of their homes and, you know, for the evictions, and then we're going to go after them for the money later on, can we send them to collections, or do we have to get a money judgment first?
You want to get a money judgment first.
And what happens if we don't get the money judgment first and just send them to collections?
You owe me money, you better pay. You owe me money, you better pay. You owe me money, you better pay. There's no teeth if you don't have a judgment. With the judgment, I could garnish their wages. I could seize the funds in their bank account right around income tax refund time. If you don't have a judgment, you need to pay. You owe me the money.
Okay.
And it's unenforceable is the easiest way I could explain it. There's nothing I can do. But if I have a judgment, I can garnish your wages. I can seize the funds in your bank account. I can levy title on your motor vehicle so that you can't register it with the DMV until you pay me off.
Fair.
Okay. If I don't have a judgment from court, then what you owe me is unenforceable.
So if we were just to send them to collections without the judgment, it's unenforceable and they don't have to pay it. But what if they do pay it? Then we're good?
And you didn't have to share the funds with somebody that's doing collections. So let me say this. When I worked in corporate America, what we did is we had someone in-house that handled our collections for the first 90 days, 120 days before we sent it out to the collection agency. They used scare tactics and intimidation tactics, threatening to go after their credit score, to go to court and get a judgment against them for money so that we could garnish wages. So they used a lot of threatening tactics, if you will, to scare and or manipulate that person into paying. If they pay, hit the easy button, we're done here. If they don't pay, then we'd send it to formal collections, get a money judgment against them in a small claims action, and then turn it over to a collection agency so they could stick their teeth in them. But we did hold them in-house afterwards, I want to say for maybe 3 or 4 months. And we had a team that diligently worked on trying to collect that. Here's my professional opinion. And yes, I am a blonde. Right after you evict somebody, they're scrambling. I don't care who they are. They're scrambling because now they're having to pay for a moving truck that they weren't prepared for. They're having to put down first month's rent and deposit somewhere else that they're financially strapped when they're forced to move. Understand? They're financially strapped when they're forced to move, like an eviction. So with that being said, I didn't hold them for the first 120 days on evictions going, hey, you need to pay me or we're going to come after you. We're going to enforce a money judgment, garnish your wages and blah, blah, blah. If they don't have anything, they don't have anything. If you evicted them and they're struggling to get the moving van and get all their stuff out and blah, 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 blah. My question to you is how collectible is the debt? If it's not collectible, why spend the time or the money or the effort or the energy? Example, tenant is on Social Security disability and has no other income. You can't garnish those wages. So why are you going to waste time going to small claims court and getting a money judgment against them? If they're permanently disabled or something along those lines, you're done here unless they win the lottery. Got it?
Got it.
And before somebody asks me, because I know this one's coming, you cannot discriminate against source of income when you're renting to someone. So if someone is standing in front of you saying, I'm on Social Security disability and my husband's on Social Security and retirement pension and blah, blah, blah's on welfare, you need to understand that's all uncollectible funds. You can't garnish somebody's welfare check or their food stamps, okay? You can't garnish somebody's disability payment. So if they don't pay you, what's your recourse? Paying attention? But you cannot deny them based on source of income. So you can't say, okay, that's it. I'm not renting to anybody on Social Security or disability ever again because it's uncollectible. You can't do that. But you need to understand there is a huge risk when you rent to someone that way, but you're required to rent to them if they meet your criteria. Okay, so I'm just giving you the heads up. Example, I would not spend a dime of money to pursue a small claims court case to go after a collection matter for somebody that's on Social Security, disability, welfare, food stamps, etc. Got it? You can't collect it. You can't, why try to get the judgment if you can't collect the money? It doesn't make sense. Now, somebody move out, owe me money. Oh, I don't know how they're ever going to pay. If we're not talking about Social Security, disability, welfare, etc., those are the kind of people that win the lottery. Your judgment is good for 20 years, 10 years at first, and then you can renew it for another 10. For the next 20 years, your collection company will chase them, follow them, and if they ever decide they want to buy a house, they're going to have to pay you off first. Okay, we see a lot of that, and we'll see a lot more of that when the real estate market takes a turn this next time. We'll see a lot more tenants trying to buy. And when they try to buy, they got to pay off your debt before they can qualify for the loan. A lot of them will want to settle for a less amount. Hell no, nobody negotiates the price of a loaf of bread by the time they pick it up, put it in their cart, to the time they get to the cash register. You're not going to argue about the price when you get there, right? They've already spent this money with you. Why would you let them settle for a less amount? Make sense? All right, now somebody asked me something because I feel like I'm rambling. And I need more Red Bull. That's my problem. Anybody have anything for me? Any questions, concerns? I hope you guys caught the AGLA class yesterday. It looks like they want me to do some more teachings with them. So I'm coming up with some more topics. I'm thinking about doing an in-depth dive into your lease so that you understand what all those terms are. You guys all have a waiver clause. Do you know what it means? You know what I mean? We all see that in our rental contracts. We see waiver in there, but do we know what that means? Do we know what that stands for? Is this something that you guys would like to be educated on? I mean, help me help all us landlords and provide you guys with what you need. I need to come up with 24 class titles for AGLA for next year. And I want to do a couple more this year. And I don't know, I should be at the trade show. I think I'm going to be in the AGLA booth. If you guys are going to AGLA's trade show in Pasadena in the month of October, there's 3 trade shows in October. And for the life of me, I can't remember what date theirs is. But I'll tell you this, 99.9% sure AGLA is doing wine tasting in their booth at the trade show. Kind of neat, something different. Hey, bring your sippy cup or your Camelback. All right, anybody have anything else for me in regards to whatever you want to talk about? Nothing? You guys are good? There's some pending legislation going on that I'm gonna, oh, Val left me one. Okay, Val, thank you. I missed something. Oh, there is. I missed a lot. I'm sorry. My tenant says there are other programs available. There are, but they could be through private entities. There is no more housing is key funds. Those are gone. Live to Rise is out of money. Who else is out of money? There's a bunch of them that are out of funding. But there's also little one-offs or little knockoffs that got church money or donated money, and they're helping as well. So there are some other stuff that is helping. I'm going to ask the attorney about there's no eviction moratorium in incorporated cities of LA County. That's not how I read that. And I'll ask the attorney. I don't think that's correct. But I get that it's law and everybody has their own interpretation of it. I get it. But yeah, the way I see it is everyone in LA County, whether incorporated or unincorporated, can self-certify until the end of this year that they've been affected by the pandemic. Okay, that's how I read it. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, now I'm clicking on the wrong button. Chat. I want to chat. There we go. I used fast evictions to get possession on the pig lady. Now, how soon can it go to collection? Whenever you're ready. I know she bought a home. Small claims is going to be required because you want to go after all the money. You don't, I know what you want to do. I got you, but you need to sue her in small claims for all the money she owes you. The money judgment that you obtained in court was only for the time period during the eviction and not anything prior to then. It also doesn't cover any damages or any of your legal expenses per your contract. I've been waiting for you to get your houses ready, Val. I'm waiting. When you're ready to jump, I will tell you how high, when, where, who, what, and why, okay? But for now, let's get your other ones vacant, rented. You got 4 years is your statute of limitations. It's not a race. And if we put it on this after her and she owns a home, if she tries to refinance or do anything, that's when that hurts her. Got it? It won't do anything that she owns a house right now. I wonder if I could levy her house. I got to go ask one of the attorneys. Sometimes you guys give me ideas, you know, and I'm like, I wonder if we can do this. Can I put a lien on real property? Is there valid reasons why a landlord will not rent to a tenant? Yes, Mark, absolutely. Do you want to know what those reasons are? You ready? You don't meet our criteria. That would be a valid reason not to rent to a tenant. You don't meet our criteria. Completely valid. I hope that made sense. Sometimes I'm a wise ass, sorry. But yeah, one thing I always say when I'm denying an applicant is, unfortunately, you don't meet our criteria. Why don't I meet it? I don't know. My screen doesn't tell me why. It doesn't give me the details pertinent to you. It just tells me approved, denied, or conditionally approved. And unfortunately, yours came back denied. So you'll get a letter in the mail explaining to you how you can get a copy of this credit report. Thank you so much for applying and have a great day. Got it? I don't tell people why I deny them because it creates an argument. Kind of like when you say the owner wants their house back. Well, why? Because the owner wants their house back. But why? Because the owner wants their house back. In other words, if you're not required to tell them, don't. All it does is create an argument. Bingo, it's just like a loan. It actually falls under the same guidelines. It's all in the Fair Credit Reporting Act.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
I hope what I'm saying to you makes sense. Yes, it is exactly like a loan rejection. We are required by law to send them an adverse action notice explaining to them in depth why they were denied and how they can get a free copy of that credit report. Do you know why they were denied? They were denied for information obtained on their credit report that didn't meet our criteria. Now you understand how important it is to have that front page on the front of all your applications, whether they're online or with paper. Have that cover sheet on the front. It is your first line of defense in a discrimination lawsuit, hands down. And I have used that 10 times over, and it has saved my asset on more than one occasion, okay? The best one I ever had is, part of my criteria is all parties residing in the premises must apply that are 18 or older. And this guy comes in one day and he throws his application at me in this little cocky ass attitude that I didn't want to deal with. And he said, here's my application. When can I move in? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, we haven't run your credit or done anything yet. There's one application here and this is a 4-bedroom house. You didn't list anyone else's being with you. Are you living in this house by yourself? I can ask that. Will you be the only one residing in the property? He said, oh no, my girlfriend's moving in 3 months. Oh, you have a girlfriend that's going to be moving in 3 months? Okay, here's your application back. I'm returning it to you with your money. Your application is incomplete and we don't accept incomplete applications here. You're denying me and you can't do that. That's illegal. I'm not denying you, sir. I'm not accepting your incomplete application. Why is my application incomplete? Because you said your girlfriend was going to live with you, but she's not listed here as an additional occupant, nor do I have an application from her. So if you and your girlfriend plan on living in this property, both you and your girlfriend need to apply. He went to the Better Business Bureau. He went everywhere trying to say that I denied him before looking at his application. I discriminated, I this, I that. Part of my criteria clearly states that all parties tending to reside on the property must apply 18 and older. I won everywhere, got the Better Business thing removed. I mean, don't challenge me, mister. I know more than I should. But yeah, that's how I utilize that. This is only when you run their credit. What if the credit's not run? You don't send rejection letters if you don't run credit. Exactly. You only have to send the adverse action letter if you're denying an applicant after you ran their credit. Okay. And I run credit on all of them because they could tell me until they're blue in the face what's going on. I don't care. I want to see it on paper. A new law passed, by the way. And it's currently up to the landlord. But what they're trying to do is say that tenants can provide a landlord with their own credit report. So we're back to fraudulent documents again. From what I see and what I understood after talking with Agla briefly is at this point, a landlord can still insist on running their own. So I have to do a little bit more digging into that, but we never want to look at a credit. I always look at it. I always take it. If they provide me with a credit report, and run your own. And what I explained to a tenant is, oh, I'm sorry. The reason that we run credit here, even though you just had your credit report run by someone else, we have to run credit here because it's much easier for us to put a judgment on your credit in the event that you don't pay us further down the road if we initially ran your credit. That was my story. That's what I stuck to. And that's how I convinced tenants that we needed to run our own credit report, that I couldn't accept theirs. If you don't accept documents from them, then they're not subject to Photoshop and all the changes they can make, right? Yep. If you run your own report, it's really hard for them to manipulate it. That's not the word I want. It's really hard for them to alter the information obtained on that report if you run it yourself. If you take their report, it would be very easy for them to alter the information on it. Just like it would be very easy for them to alter the information on bank statements because they're the ones providing those to you. I mean, come on. I could make a bank statement that says I made $4 million last month, but that is not the case, folks. I just want to make sure you're paying attention. Remember, and if you guys want to see what I'm talking about, do this, okay? Google, I need pay stubs. Just Google, I need pay stubs, okay? And go look at how many BS pay stubs you can print out for free right online. In fact, you guys might want to go make yourselves familiar with what those BS pay stubs look like. Just saying. We can't always outsmart them. We can't always outbeat them. But if we know what the documents look like that they're obtaining that are false, then we know what we're looking for. Got it? Somebody asked me, see, look. Yes, Geraldo. They're out there. They're all over the place. Make me pay stubs. Somebody gave me some pay stubs one day and they were standing there and they were acting funny and I didn't think about it right away, but then it dawned on me there's something in here that they don't want me to catch while they're standing here. So let's see if I can catch it. So I immediately go to the pay stubs. And do you know what it says on their pay stub? Enter year to date amount here. Okay. If you're looking at someone's pay stub and it says enter year to date amount here, no. So then I said, oh, it looks like we're going to need to obtain some additional information from you, sir. I need your last 2 years of income tax refunds. Wait, what? You want my, but I provided my pay stubs. I know, and now I'm requesting your income tax refund statements.
Mm, mm.
I hope you guys are paying attention because I'm also giving you the verbiage of how you report back to them. You don't accuse them of theft. You don't tell them, hey, I know you printed the shit out off the internet. You don't approach them. No. You just ask for additional documentation. And now they have to scramble because they have to make their income tax that they filed match the pay stubs that they gave you that are ridiculous. And they can't. Nah, see? Oh, those are packed away in storage, because we're moving and that. Okay, well, I can't proceed with your application until I have those. So for now, it's marked as incomplete. We don't accept incomplete applications here. So do you want to take all of this back until you have it completed and you can bring me the documents that I'm requesting? Okay, you guys, don't accuse them of anything. What you talk about behind closed doors with your staff, with us, that's all fine, okay? But what you say in front of them is not accusations that you're accusing them of fraud, cheating, lying. Save it. Save the drama for something else. It's not worth it in your investment property. Just tell them, I'm sorry, I'm also requesting this additional documentation. When they can't provide it, then your application's incomplete. You don't have to accept it. Here you go. Okay. There's a method to my madness and a reason why I'm telling you guys to do it this way, because it puts everything in succession so that you're not exposing yourself to unnecessary litigation. Paystubsnow.com, make your pay stub. Yeah, no joke. Same with emotional support animals, fake certifications. Yes, but Gruesome Newsome, sorry, Governor Gruesome, no. What's his name? Do I even know his real name? Gruesome Newsome. No, that's not his name. His name's not Gruesome. What is his name? You got Gavin.
Gavin.
Sorry. Gavin Newsom did something good for us as landlords, okay? I'm glad you guys are all laughing with me, okay? Sorry. I think he's a moron, and that's just my opinion, and I know everybody's entitled to one, and I am not trying to make Widget's Way all about politics. But the reality is, it is our political leaders that are designing and developing the system that we have to use. So that's why I get so angry and frustrated with them, is because of what they do is how we have to behave, okay? And I'll leave my statement at that. I don't always agree with them. Not trying to make it a big political issue, I promise. But Gavin Newsom passed this law to help stop the bullshit for fictitious emotional support animal claims. The attorneys have looked this over, and they're telling us don't implement the new law regarding emotional support animals because it's too easy for them to cry COVID and say that it's a retaliatory issue. So for right now, we're not doing anything with the new emotional support animal law that came out on January 1st of this year, stating that tenants now must be seeing the doctor for at least 30 days before they issue the note. And if they don't, there's civil fines against the medical provider for providing the fraudulent documentation. And there's also civil fines and penalties against the tenant for playing along with the fraudulent activity. Because of COVID, if you poke in that direction right now, it's most likely going to be considered retaliatory. So we are not telling anyone to go after ESA letters under the new rules quite yet, okay? It's just too risky for you guys. How long do we need to keep original paper leases and applications if we have them scanned? For 4 years after the tenancy ends. Do you want to know why? People are like, damn, Patty, I got to keep this paperwork for 4 years After the tenancy ends, yeah, you want to know why? Because the statute of limitations on an oral agreement is 2 years. So if you don't have a written contract, the tenant can come back and sue you for up to 2 years after they vacate. If you have a written contract, the statute of limitations is 4 years. Now you know why I'm telling you to keep your documentation for 4 years after the tenant vacates. Because if they sue you, you will need that documentation in court. Got it? Hope that makes sense. And if you're a licensed property management firm doing property management for profit, so you're managing other people's investment properties for profit, I believe that the BRE or DRE, depending on what they're calling themselves this year, you need to keep those records for 7 years. One of them says 3. I just giggle all the time when they say 3. Your statute of limitations is 4 years. Why would you not want to have the paperwork that you need to defend yourself in a lawsuit? Why are you telling people to only keep it for 3 years? I get it. 4 years past the day they vacate, just so you understand. And God forbid something crashes computer-wise, at least you have something to fall back on. Just saying. So I get that you scan them. I get that you keep scan files. I got you, but you need to keep your paper files for at least 4 years after the tenant vacates, so that you're in compliance with statute of limitations. In the event that you get sued, you have all the documentation that you would need to provide to a court, which is original signatures. I don't want you guys to hate me with the answers I give you. You're like, I want to get rid of this now. I just scanned it, so it's going in the shredder. No, don't put it in the shredder. You might need it for trial 3.5 years from now. Yep. You never know. I remember one day I was, I'm designing a system at the law firm I work for to make things easier for the intake department. Okay, hold on, Geraldo. Let me see what's going on. No, I didn't say scanning wasn't enough. You asked me a specific question. I'm going to give you, how long do we need to keep original paper leases applications if we have them scanned? Thanks. When you go to court, they ask you to bring the original documents. Did you not know? You're supposed to bring the original documents to court with you. You know, the wet signature. You got wet signatures, you need to keep those. If you're a mom and pop and you scanned them in, okay. If you're professional property management, you scanned them in, I'm glad you scanned them in, but keep your hard copies somewhere too, for at least 4 years after the day they vacate. I know it's a pain, but you guys, you never know. You never know. I got an inquiry once, believe it or not, from Experian. And they gave me 4 random applications they needed to see. What? 2 years after I ran the credit. So I had to go through, find those applications I ran, pull out the wet signatures and scan those and send them over to Equifax to prove to them that I could produce the documents upon demand. So if you're running credit, there's additional laws regarding safe business practices. It has to do with having people's social security numbers. Okay. Okay. Has to do with fair credit reporting. Okay. And do me a favor, you guys, and please pay attention when I tell you this. Do not write anything on a tenant's application at all, except the date and time it was received up at the top. Nothing else. Do not make a mark on their application. Do not write anything on the application, because what they can do is they can come back and say, well, I filled out my application and it was denied. And when I saw the copy she had written all over, that's why they denied me. She wrote notes all over it. They can ask to see their application back. So don't alter it in any way. I always immediately, as soon as an application comes in, we have half sheets of blank scratch paper. We staple a half sheet of blank scratch paper on the front of the application. All notes get written on that piece of scratch paper, not on the application itself. No ink from my pen should ever go on a tenant's application at all, because they're going to say they were denied because you altered it. You wrote something on it. They didn't do it. You did it. So be careful with that. I've been accused of all kinds of things in this industry, you guys. Trust me, I've seen a large majority. And did you notice I didn't say I've seen it all? Because I haven't. I'm humble, okay? But every once in a while, somebody will tell me a story that makes my eyebrow twitch, and then it makes this side of my lip go up and down. Yeah, it's like this little nervous twitch, but I think it's me getting angry, irritated, and frustrated. Not necessarily at that person, but maybe at the system or whoever educated them or whatever it may be. But yeah, there's a lot of tips and tricks out there, you guys. Widget is full of them. You just got to get in my brain. You got to get in my brain so I can share my knowledge with you. Well, we're talking mostly today about leasing, and I'm trying to get you guys geared for that because I know what's coming. I know what's about to hit us. And I'm seeing more and more signs. I would say probably by mid next summer, this market will crash. If it hasn't crashed by the end of next summer, it will. 23 August, I'd say. This time next year, the real estate market should officially be crashed. Or what did they call it? Because I can't call it a crash. I can't call it that. So hold on. An adjustment. An adjustment. We'll see an adjustment in the real estate market. It'll be an adjustment. Okay. So my guess is we'll see that happen within 12 months from now. But please note, when they say, boom, the real estate market has crashed and real estate has no value, that is not when you go buy. Please remember that it takes anywhere from 6 to 9 months just to do the foreclosure. And then you have to do an eviction after the foreclosure before the bank is going to sell that property for pennies on the dollar. So you have 2 court cases. Once they say it's crashed, you have to add in mentally the time to do a foreclosure and then an eviction. Okay. Once you add those 2 in, that's when you want to buy that date. So usually about 18 months after they announce that real estate has no value. Adjustments happening beginning now. Yes, we're seeing adjustments. We're seeing things happen. For the most part, I feel completely confident when I tell you that we're seeing a stalemate in the market. So for those of us that were raising rents, they're not renting. They're sitting there vacant. So we're capping out. And in some areas, I even have them asking for less money, lowering the price of the rent to get it rented. Okay, so we're starting to see that happen as well. So signs, symptoms, they're all there. Air smells right. Just saying, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And remember, it takes about 18 months to go through the legal process because you have to do a legal foreclosure, which it's 3 months to notice of default and then 4 months to notice a trustee sale. Did I do that backwards? It's 3 months and then 3 months. It's 3 months and then 4 months. So it's 7 months to foreclosure, but then you have the court case hearing and the foreclosure hearing. And then they can do the foreclosure eviction behind it. So we'll see how it goes, where it comes out. I'm always here to help you guys. Salt Lake City House, hold on. Salt Lake City housing market down at least 10% from the past few months. Of course, New York City is the worst. We're starting to see areas here where they're capped out on increases. And landlords, unfortunately, are having to now lower that increased amount in order to get it occupied. So we are seeing changes come about. We're not quite at a concession war yet, but it's coming. I know it is. So, and when it happens, I will be here to talk you through it and walk you through it and gear you up for what the bottom line is and how to get there as quickly as we need to. I will raise rent to, hang on. I will raise rent to double so I can recoup the times the rent was at half market rent. It's what we have to do, unfortunately. No joke. What I like to do is get my rent up to a level where I'm comfortable, and then I stop increasing and just let them sit there at that rent. No joke. I haven't done a rent increase on, we'll just pick one property. We'll do my mom's old house. I haven't done a rent increase on that property in 5 years. She's paying the mortgage. I'm making money. Why price gouge her and keep raising rents just so I can lower them later? I'm at an amount where if it tanks and goes into the toilet tomorrow, she's still at a reasonable amount of rent. You know, I'm not way overvalued. Is there a law that says I have to stop increasing rent? No. No, there's no law that says, yes, there is. There's a moratorium in LA County right now that says, no, there's not a law that says you can't increase rents other than the moratoriums. So, and there's only a moratorium in place right now in the county of Los Angeles and the city of San Diego. Those are the only ones where we have active moratoriums in Southern California. I got to throw that in there because I do not monitor or watch Central or Northern Cali, just so you know. I focus in one area, Southern California. So from Inyo County, Kern County, down to San Diego. I don't want to learn somewhere else. I just don't. My little blonde brain is full. I'm max capacity right here, okay? Somebody asked me, do you happen to remember the Senate bill numbers during COVID? No. Why don't you remember them? You taught so much of it, because I don't need to remember them. They were temporary laws. So they are gone, and I've made room in my brain for permanent ones. I couldn't tell you. The only bill I remember is Senate Bill 944, I think it was. And I can't even, nope. Is that bad? I can't remember temporary laws from 2 years ago. I can't. If I don't need it anymore, my brain shuts it out so I can absorb new information. Somebody said, that's insane that you don't remember. But ask me what I do remember. All right, you guys, I'm going to get off of here. I am rambling. Have a wonderful week. You know how to find me if you need me.
Hey, Patty, I got one more question before you go.
You got it. What you got, girlie?
I have an apartment, San Bernardino County. The tenant basically got evictions, almost got evicted, but like we agreed on a day for her to move out, and then she actually moved out.
Judgment.
Yes, thank you. Couldn't remember that word right now.
It's okay. You got a stip.
Yes. She has a car that she left at the property. Do we have to do anything to remove it, or can we just remove it?
Is it in the garage or parked on the street?
It's parked in the parking space. There's 4 parking spaces.
Call a local tow truck company, have them come post the vehicle and tow it away.
Okay.
If it's in a garage, different set of facts. just so everybody understands. That's why I ask questions, you guys, is there's a lot of moving pieces when you guys ask me a question. So if you notice, she asked me a question, I came right back with questions. Is it in a garage? It's because I'm trying to figure out what's going on there in depth. So with that being said, I would contact a tow truck company and ask them to come tow it. It's going to be at the owner's expense. They'll probably post notice on it based on the ordinance for that city.
Okay.
But hit the easy button. If it's in a garage, you would then have to do your your disposition of security deposit. Your right to reclaim abandoned personal property would be valued more than $700. You'd have to hire an auctioneer at the end of it, have a tow truck company tow it away, try to sell it at a auction, at a car auction, and then you'd have to take the proceeds from that sale and send them to the state of California. Did I lose you? So be glad it's outside, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Not in the garage. Otherwise, it would be a mess. All right, you guys have a great week. If anybody needs anything else, you guys know how to find me. Thank you, all of you. I had to have a car mysteriously moved to the street, and then I had it towed for free. Thank you, Val. I understood you. But yeah, it's in a fourplex parking lot. So yeah, call a tow truck company when in doubt. All right, you guys have a great week. I will talk to you soon, I'm sure. Bye.